Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we're going to figure out the real-world highway fuel economy of the 2022 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid. In this video, we're going to do 100 miles on the highway and see what sort of real-world fuel economy numbers we can get out of this new compact crossover. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a quick look at it. All new for 2022, the Hyundai Tucson. This is the best powertrain to get with this car, at least until the plug-in hybrid comes out. This one has more power, smoother, and gets better efficiency numbers than the gas motor, and it's really not that much more expensive either. So there's a lot to love about the new Tucson. If you want to see more, check the links in the description. We've got some first driving impressions from when we drove it out in Arizona. We've got a sound system test and a DM test drive of the one here shot by Christopher. So why do we do these tests? Well, the EPA's highway fuel economy test, which gives this Tucson 36 miles per gallon, that test only averages 48 miles per hour. We know there are people who take their vehicles on long road trips and would like to know what sort of numbers you can realistically expect in the real world. Not only that, but hybrids often don't do as well at highway speeds than on the EPA test because electric assist has more advantage at lower speeds. But when you're just cruising along at 70, gas motors tend to do better with their gearing and a few different reasons there. So it'll be cool to see what sort of numbers we actually get just doing 70 miles per hour. In order to do that, we're going to fill up here at the pump, go out, do 50 miles out and 50 miles back, come back, fill up at the same pump using the same 3-click fueling method, and get a result. A few things to note: outside temperature is 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Tire pressures have been set to the door placard 35 psi cold. We're going to run the climate control at 73 degrees auto. Now, yes, this is going to use the air conditioner, but we got to be comfortable when we drive, and that's just how people use their cars in the real world. Let's get out and fill it up. 5.939 gallons going in for our initial fill. Before we actually start the engine, I'm going to reset our since refueling, which I suppose would reset anyway. Got our GPS reset, climate control on 73 degrees auto. We're ready to go. A few different drive modes in the Tucson. We've got Eco, Sport, Smart, and Snow. We will obviously be doing this test in Eco. We're going to head over to the highway and pick up the test from there. It's about half a mile away. The goal of this test isn't to hypermile. It's not to try to get the best fuel economy results possible, but rather to get a realistic fuel economy number for this hybrid. A lot of people comment on our hybrid fuel economy tests and say, well, yeah, hybrids aren't very good on the highway, so why don't you test them in the city? It's like, well, because people go on the highway. The point of this test is not to see what gets the best fuel economy for a car. The point of the test is to see what numbers the car gets in a standardized test at 70 miles per hour. So, yeah, hybrids don't tend to do as well, and people should know that if they're planning on buying a hybrid for extended highway driving. But anyway, so we're going to get up to highway speeds here. We're going to actually get to 73 miles per hour according to our GPS. And then we'll drop that down to 72 throughout the test if we're averaging good speeds. Engage our adaptive cruise control here. Hyundais have some of the best active lane keeping on the market. You can see if I wanted to right now, I'd just take my hands off the wheel, or at least just a very light finger on the wheel, and keeps us right in lane. It's going drifting a little bit, but overall does a very good job. Initial highway impressions are pretty good. I have driven this car before, but it's our first time driving it here at our home location in Michigan. So we're going to continue on with the rest of the test and catch up with you at the end. In the meantime, enjoy this time lapse of the entire trip. Coming into the end of the highway fuel economy test here in the new Tucson Hybrid. Plenty good highway cruiser. This thing eats away at the miles. As I said, the active lane keeping certainly helps. Decent sound system. Getting 33.6 miles per gallon according to the car's trip computer. So a little bit lower than EPA, but we'll see what sort of numbers we actually get once we fill it up at the pump. Not really too much else to note. It's I like the soft materials where your elbows go. I like the newer Hyundai steering wheel that allows you to rest your hand right here. It's just a good, solid, family compact crossover. Not too loud in here. Is this glass double pane? Oops, wrong one. Nope, single pane glass. Not the quietest in here, but also not the loudest. Yeah, so let's get back to the pump and see what sort of numbers we get. 33.7 pulling up to the pump, 105.4 according to the GPS, but only 103.4, so lost 2 miles on the car's odometer and trip computer compared to the GPS. 3.045 gallons going in. 105.4 divided by 3.045 is giving us 34.6 miles per gallon. So actually better than the car's trip readout, and just barely edging this up to 35. So still a little lower than EPA, but fairly good result for a vehicle of this size, especially when, like that Infiniti that we just drove, the QX55 with premium gas, you're only getting 28 miles per gallon. So yeah, pretty good number for this powertrain. We do have a 13.7 gallon fuel tank, so 35 miles per gallon times 13.7 gallons is giving you an effective highway cruising range about 470, almost 480 miles at 70 miles per hour. This hybrid powertrain is definitely the way to go right now for the Tucson. You're going to get better fuel economy, both probably on the highway. We haven't tested the gas motor here on our highway fuel economy test, but there's a good chance you're going to get better fuel economy on the highway and definitely in the city. Doesn't cost that much more, and it's a smoother and more powerful powertrain. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more on the new Tucson, check the links in the description for our sound system test, our DM test drive, and our first drive. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.